Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Ah, George. Guys, we have Fred, Marie, does Voltaire have a first name, or is that his first name? Voltaire. Francois Marie Arouet, known by his nom de plume, M. de Voltaire. Okay, Francois, Francis. I guess we have two Maries. And George. Okay, sorry, let's go. QI, best of Stevens, accents, and impressions. Original link to the video, top description. Below that, Discord. Love to have you. Let's go. My name's Connor. Hi. Let's go.
There's something so camp about modern German, though. You know what they call a mobile phone? It's just so typically camp. Mein Handy.
Mein Handy.
Ich habe mein Handy verloren. Oh, that's my Handy.
Are you hosting the BAFTAs this year?
Not no.
No? Oh, it's a shame, because I was going to say you should do it in that voice.
No, and welcome to the BAFTAs. Stop it! No.
Why is a German accent in English with a gay sort of twist so funny to hear?
Who was it who made Chachoba?
Yeah, sorry.
No.
Yeah.
Who was it who made Chachoba famous?
Billy Connolly.
Billy Connolly, exactly, did a famous routine about Chachoba. What's that? What the fuck's that? Chachoba? Chachoba? He has a way of repeating words, Billy Connolly, that I remember many years ago. And the phone rang, and it was Billy Connolly. He didn't introduce himself. He just went, Benjamin Netanyahu? And I said, what? He said, Benjamin Netanyahu? And I said, sorry, who is this? He went, Benjamin Netanyahu? What's that about? For fuck's sake, Benjamin Netanyahu? And then he put the phone down. I thought, it's Billy Connolly riffing on the name Benjamin Netanyahu. My grandfather...
For some reason, I have a very solidified memory is Bill Connolly as a character in the Muppets version of Treasure Island. Muppets Treasure Island. And he has a... Billy Bones! Billy Bones! No one's going to know what I'm talking about, I don't think, but maybe you do. But I remember him so clearly from that, and that was my first impression of Billy Connolly. Anyway.
He used to call Pythagoras Pythagoras because he was Hungarian, my grandfather. He said, you go to school, you'll learn about Pythagoras. And I was thinking, who's this Pythagoras? And I remember, and I came back, and he said, did you do the Pythagoras? I said, no, we've not done any Pythagoras. He said, you ask your mathematics teacher, he must do the Pythagoras. And I said, are we going to do Pythagoras? He's going, shut up, Fry.
Pythagoras?
Pythagoras. And I said, are we going to do Pythagoras? He's going, shut up, Fry. Pythagoras. Years later, I discovered he meant Pythagoras.
Okay, I knew it was...
Pineapple upside-down cake. Piniopli obshidovne tsoka.
Pinneapolis.
And then in the Australian Morning Bulletin, which of course is called The Bully, they said there was an error printed in a story titled Pigs Float Down the Dawson.
That's pretty good.
They said there was an error printed in a story titled Pigs Float Down the Dawson.
Titled.
On page 11 of yesterday's Bully. The story by reporter Daniel Burden said that more than 30,000 pigs were floating down the Dawson River. Actually, what the owner of the piggery said was that 30 sows and pigs. We'd like to apologise for the error. There's a story of Brendan Beard.
I love when I don't get stuff and then I feel like this. I love it.
We'd like to apologise for the error. There's a story of Brendan Beard in Canada. Do you know this? He was on Canadian television.
Ooh, eh?
And drunk, as he always was. They said, so what brings you to Canada, Mr. Behan? And he said, well, now, I was in a bar in Dublin. And they had one of those coasters. And it said on it, drink Canada dry, so I thought I'd give it a shot.
Sounds almost Irish. Canada, eh? Oh, let's go watch the curling match at University, eh? University Toronto, eh? I'm sorry, Canadians. I'm not sorry. Canada and the U.S. are basically the same thing, and I don't care if you. Here it comes.
I watched too many of those horror films where it's always the phone call
They're
came
calling
from
from
inside.
inside. Yeah. Well, if they're not in the house, they can't get you. Your horror movies sound fine.
There's so many genres, and sometimes there's the cabin in the woods genre. There are high school ones and
There's
sometimes-
camp ones.
Camp ones, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, not camp in the sense of...
No.
Camp horror would be quite fun, wouldn't it?
In the sense of what, Stephen?
You gave me a start.
Dang it, I didn't do it well. I was trying to do Jimmy Carr laugh. Someone said I can do the Jimmy Carr laugh pretty well in the comments, and now I'm like, ooh, I gotta do it next. Never mind.
What was the first invention to break the sound barrier?
Mae West vibrator.
Cannonball, musket fire, catapult.
West vibrator.
Cannonball, musket fire, catapults.
Whoa, hello. No, not a cannonball.
I spelt it wrong, points to me. There's two ends in cannon, isn't there?
Three, I would have thought.
Yeah, well, one on the end, but
Yeah, yeah.
in the middle.
In the middle two, yes, yeah.
Otherwise, otherwise it's a ball of religion.
Yes, we thought it might be...
A ball of lore.
We thought it was Bobby and Tommy, you know.
Hey!
Hey! You're looking at me! Looking at me! Stop looking!
Alice McGowan, watch out!
Those strange women on Desert Island Discs. Did you ever hear Diana Mosley?
No, she liked a bit of Wagner.
She did like Wagner, but she liked Hitler and met him many times. She said, well, what people don't understand is how funny he was. He was very funny. You know, his eyes were quite blue. Oh, yes, they were quite blue.
Makes it
He
all
was
right,
hilarious.
doesn't it?
Blue. One scene never forgotten. One scene never forgotten. Well, that's all right then. I met her, and she said to me, "Of course, you never knew Hitler, did you?" Well, you know, of course, guards were indeed there were lots of stories about men doing things with guardsmen in the 50s and 60s.
Guys, so all these shows, like 8 out of 10 Cats does Countdown. I've always been confused what the title is of that show. And then there's QI, and then there is all these types of shows, right? There's the adding one, then there's the Would I Lie to You? Anyways, a lot of these types of shows. I forget what my point was.
See that story of Churchill who was woken up one morning when he was Prime Minister in the 50s? And he said, I'm afraid there's a bit of a scandal, Prime Minister. There's one of our backbench MPs was found with a guardsman in St James's Park in the bushes last night by the police, and the papers have got hold of it. Churchill said, last night? He said, yes. Churchill said, very cold last night, wasn't it? And the PPA, who said, well, yes, actually, Prime Minister, I believe it was one of the...
Hold on, with a guardsman? Like one of the red guys with the tall hats? I thought they can't even talk. Maybe that's how it happened. Oh, God.
The coldest February nights for 30 years. Churchill said, makes you proud to be British.
I'm ruining it.
The voice of your forefathers there, the ancestors, isn't it? Keeping a welcoming inside, isn't that? So, before we start...
Were they Pakistanis?
Stop it right now. I'm going to lay down the law. Like the teachers...
Look, I'm doing it again here. Explain.
The voice of your forefathers there, the ancestors, isn't it? Keeping a welcoming inside, isn't that? So, before we start...
Were they Pakistanis?
Stop it right
What did he
now.
say, guys?
I'm going to lay down the law. Like the teacher's first day at school, he's strict just so that people are afraid of him.
Trying to get all umpty.
Yes.
Before we start.
Mocking my Welsh accent.
Northern Europe. From Cape Town. Welcome to the valleys in Cardiff.
It's my accent. You stop halfway through, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Yes.
It's gone all street now. Yeah, I stop halfway through, innit? That's like that.
Right. Okay. All right.
Stephen Fry, yeah.
He sounds like Ali G. I gotta watch Ali G video.
Right, that's it.
At the Titanic Museum in Belfast, which is...
Is that the Statue of Liberty? Hold on. No. Is that Statue of Liberty? It's a Trojan horse. I know for a fact. Okay? One day, we're going to piss off the French, and they're going to press a button, a manual, and that thing's going to go on our killing rampage.
Titanic Museum in Belfast, which is quite good. They...
Brilliant. It's quite good. You better do a bit better there at Belfast now. Yeah, not good enough, really, for Alan.
That's one of his best ones.
What's Chewbacca like?
Oh, rest in peace.
Try and ignore Stephen.
He sounds like the Cowardly Lion at the beginning.
Laugh it up, fuzzball. But this particular chase...
Dang it, I'm doing it terrible.
As I say, in '64, but in 1982, a man called Brian, which is a good Irish name, told the Liverpool Echo that he'd been working in the park when some children saw him and mocked him for his height, or rather lack of it. And so, joining in the sport, he spoke in sort of sort of Irish gibberish. I know, I'm sorry, I'm doing what he did. Through sods of earth, sort of Irish gibberish. I know, he spoke in sort of sort of Irish gibberish. I know, I'm sorry, I'm doing what he did. Threw sods of earth at them, and they ran away frightened, thinking he was a leprechaun. So, because they called him a leprechaun.
Came back with their
they said, "Oh, you're a leprechaun," and he went, "I am that." And so they all said, "Yeah, we saw a leprechaun. We saw, saw a real one, saw a real leprechaun in the park." And so all these kids in the park, they all invaded it.
Like a lost episode of Brookside.
In 2012, a paper called Gynecomastia in German Soldiers, Etiology and Pathology looked at the number of breast reductions that were taking place among male members of the German army. 212 German soldiers have had this procedure, which is not inconsiderable, considering him being a male soldier. It's presumably embarrassing.
Yes, exactly.
Why?
I just thought, wouldn't it go away?
Yeah, but the modern German army is... forget all your notions of the Nazi army. We're whole new peoples, We're very...
Wait, I'm so confused.
The paper...
Like a lost episode of Brookside.
A Brookside?
In 2012, a paper called Gynecomastia in German Soldiers, Etiology and Pathology looked at the number of breast reductions that were taking place among male members of the German army. 212 German soldiers have had this procedure, which is not inconsiderable.
I'm so confused. I mean, you're a soldier, you're probably in pretty good shape. And aren't those muscles sort of important? Why?
Considerable, considering him being a male soldier. It's presumably embarrassing.
Yes, exactly. I just thought, wouldn't it go away?
Yeah, but the modern German army is... forget all your notions of the Nazi army. We're whole new peoples, We're very at ease with our inner woman, It's really... There's no embarrassment. I can show you my breasts, and I'm not embarrassed at all. It's fine.
Do you not think...
I listened to that right? Like 225 German male soldiers in 2012 had breast reduction surgery. I don't. Words.
Sexy accent.
Levity was our theme.
Leviticus.
Oh.
So shellfish and...
Well, we didn't hear any shellfish.
No, we didn't.
No.
Unless...
An owl.
Yeah.
A beard being shaved. The rending of cloth. And a pig.
So they're all things prohibited.
Anything to do with a pig is forbidden.
Yeah.
Brian Blessed, no, Brian Blessed is not kosher. No.
You guys gotta help me out with the accents. I have no clue that he's even doing because I can't even guess. But there's something similar.
But instead in Glasgow they call it a stoner. Stoner. Do you know what a stoner? Do you know what it means? Yeah, it means an erection. It means a stuffy, aye.
I feel like you're just doing a Bill Connolly accent as a Scottish accent.
That's the Scottish accent, apparently.
Which part of Scotland?
Which he's Scottish, so that makes sense.
The part I loved, there's a marvellous story about Maggie Smith when she was going to play Miss Jean Brodie, and she was going, oh, God, I can't do a bloody Scottish accent. And a friend of hers said, well, I've got an aunt who lives in Morningside, which is just the right area for Jean Brodie, that very refined Scottish accent.
said, call her up and, you know, offered
I
to
thought
take
that was an oxymoron.
her out to tea. And so Maggie Smith called up and said, hello, my name's Maggie Smith. I don't know if you know the novel The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie. She said, but I'm playing that character and I'd love... Apparently you have a very, very charming Morningside accent and I'd like to take you to tea and maybe with a tape recorder. And there was a very frigid pause. He said, my dear, I have been told I have no accent whatever. Hugely insulting. And
Maggie Smith. Oh, I didn't know who he was talking about until he did the voice, and man, that was good. Professor McGonagall.
there was a very frigid pause. He said, my dear, I have been told I have no accent whatever. Hugely insulting. And there are Scots. I remember talking to one Scot who spoke a form of Scottish where he was convinced that everyone thought he sounded English. There is absolutely nothing I am saying
Sean
which ought to
Connery.
lead you to believe that I am Scottish.
That's Sean Connery. I live in New England, but I don't think I have a New England accent. Like, what would be an example? The ka? You know, I don't say the ka, like, or, you know, you just don't pronounce the ahs sometimes. Your r's. It's just, I can talk like that if I want to, but I don't think I have an accent. Yeah, you want a New England accent? Just don't pronounce your ahs. Ahs. Your r's. Never mind.
Absolutely every vowel is pure English, and yet it sounded more Scottish than the worst Glaswegian drunk in a Soho doorway. Carry on.
And you were doing so well.
Yes.
I knew you. They heard that voice. I don't know what goes there.
Really, I've got to say, Stephen, it's been a bewildering array of Scottish...
He's good.
Another man I was very proud to have met, the Hammer film of the Witchfinder General, starred Vincent Price. You just wanted him to say things like, could you pass the mustard?
What accent is that?
To say things like, could you pass the mustard? I got him to say the line that I loved. It was from one of those films where he's kind of strangely bound up in some weird bandages. Pray speak quietly. Every sound you make is exquisite agony to me.
Great accent. I don't know who he's mimicking. Hey, Mitchell, but it sounds funny.
The Australians get it right. I was on an Ansett flight from Perth to Adelaide, and he started off by saying, oh, we're on our way to Adelaide. Adelaide is not your final...
Adelaide.
destination. Now would be
Adelaide.
an ideal time to deplane. He then said, and then he
I'm
started
sorry.
talking about the safety. He said, but that's enough yakety-yak from me. He said, it's time to push some service down the aisles and some scenery past the window. In the olden days,
Yeah.
a certain class of person virtually ruled the roost in Britain, and that was an aristocrat.
Oh.
Yes, absolutely shocking people.
And you had to throw yourself into the gutter if one approached you.
Well, sometimes they had strong, stern and absurd moral views.
So they weren't allowed to walk?
Well, yes, if you
Side by
imagine,
side.
I'm not having the working classes next to each other in
Yeah.
the street, because it can only lead to touching.
I know you think you're doing a voice, but that is how you talk.
Jimmy Carr is so great.
Thank you for watching. Do remember to subscribe to the QI channel and click here
No.
to watch more videos.
I will. I'm subscribed. Oh, I'm not. I am now. That was great. A lot of stuff I didn't get. I feel like I talked too much. Probably a bit annoying, but hey, can't win them all, right? Love you guys. Hope you're all doing well. If not, chin up. Look at me. You'll be fine. Don't worry. If not, then whatever. That sucks. You'll be good. Bye.